You guys should not stay in Lagos and believe that things are changing. Nigeria is predominantly rural. 80% of people stay in the rural areas. If you see the people who are involved in policies at the local level, you will be shocked. You will know that we're just not going anywhere. In other jurisdictions, they head hunt for political leaders. They train them, and they know that, look, have you been well trained? This guy will be good for the society. Look at the past leaders of UK, US, and some other countries. You know that there are people of stellar qualities. Mm-hmm. You can't just go and tell people that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They'll tell you how. When we campaign, you just mobilize people to a place. You start to sing and dance. What programs are you embarking upon? Again, civil society opposition. By the way, if Nigeria continues like this, if you allow, we are giving democracy a bad name, because what democracy ought to do, democracy must have substance. It must be able to put food on your table. It must be able to guarantee security. It must be able to make life meaningful for you.
Why is our own democracy not being able to achieve these things that you've enumerated?
Because it's a pseudo-democracy. 1. 2, democracy is not enough if you don't get the right structures in place. I'll give you an instance. Chief Obafemi Awolowo, my hero, the premier of Western region, that man of uncommon ability, wanted to be president of Nigeria. We had the blueprints. All the statistics were there. We voted in this part of Nigeria for him. He never became president. MQ Abiola, of blessed memory, contested, won. He never became president. It therefore means that something is wrong with your democracy. It is because we have a country that is so diverse, and you must devise a political architecture that will ensure that even if your own does not get to the presidency, you will still feel carried along. Because in your part of Nigeria, is either the premier or the governor, and you wouldn't have to bother yourself whatever is happening. For goodness sake, when I was the premier of Western region, nobody was interested in what Tafawa Balewa was doing in Lagos, because all the fundamentals, education, rural transformation, name it.
Is it that today, when people vote, and of course, it's not everybody that people vote for that will have to become president or governor or at whichever level. So is it that today when people vote and their candidates don't get into that office, they don't feel as though they're being carried along?
That's the way it is. Because ours is a zero-sum game.
But the policy,
winner takes all.
If they make a national policy or statewide policy.
The point I'm making is that presidential system of government is unsuitable for us. Tell me, you mentioned the name of a country that shares similarities with Nigeria and still practices presidential system of government. Is it India? Is it Canada? Is it Belgium? All the countries where you have diversity, they adopt parliamentary system of government because it takes care of all the interests. 1, 2. Why should Nigeria continue to have 3 tiers of government? If you're a federal republic, you must not have more than 2 tiers of government. Federal and regions or states or local governments.
We'll have to change the laws with that then.
Yeah, of course. That's why we're saying that if you don't change the fundamental law of the land, the constitution, and get people to write a constitution, people who know Nigeria very well, people who know the challenges of Nigeria, will continue to grow up in Iraq. We can continue to pretend that all will be well.
No, but is it not, if you say that because of the quality of people who go into politics, like you talked about, those who are on the rural level will be shocked. So even with the same presidential system, if we get the right people to come in, or more people to come in who should be in there, does that mean things won't change?
The system you operate now makes it very difficult for the political process to be saturated with the right people.
So a parliamentary system will make it easy?
Because the person that will emerge as the Prime Minister of Nigeria, or the person that will emerge as the Premier of a region, or the Governor of a region, will just have to contest in a small constituency. You don't have to campaign all over Nigeria, and therefore you're not going to spend a humongous amount of money for you to emerge as the leader of Nigeria. Today, if you aspire to be president of Nigeria, you're just deceiving yourself, because, and I will be deceiving myself if I so do, because I simply don't have the resources.
Yeah, but is it just about the resources, or largely also because, look at the way people who debates are held in different areas, but how do people vote? Do people campaign or talk about issues? Do people vote based on the programs that you come up with, or when you campaign, they just tell you, yeah, we've heard you, but
the quality of the people that are involved in politics, the quality of the people that are voting. Go ahead, check. Look, play back your your coverage of elections, either 2007, 2011. And I'm not saying this to disparage anybody, but you see that the voters are largely old men and women, the youth, who perhaps have been induced with some money, not the middle class, because you don't even have the middle class anymore.
You know, I'm looking at the president's statement for the new year. Yeah. And what looks like a resolution here says, our objective for the year is to ensure by all possible means that more of the programs and projects envisioned by this administration and which already been embarked upon are further brought on stream within the next 12 months to meet the yearnings of our people and raise the quality of life. It doesn't stop there. It's also asking for something from Nigerians in return. It says, for your part, dear compatriots, I urge that you all include in your New Year resolutions a commitment to do more this year to support the implementation of the federal government's agenda for national transformation in every possible way. That is all I ask for. Now I'm looking at what has happened between yesterday and today in terms of the release of posters, which the presidency has dissociated itself from in 2013, on 2nd day of January 2013. And I'm wondering, is this resolution, do you see it being achievable, you know, in this year? And do you see Nigerians helping the government also to focus? I mean, how do you see us contributing to that? And do you also think that the government's plans or objectives are achievable this year?
The government should please stop asking the people to do more, because the people have done their bit. They have voted for Mr. President.
That's all the support that the president needs.
What again do you want them to do? It is now incumbent on Mr. President to fulfill his own part of the deal, having been voted into office. And the balance of convenience is on his side, because it presides over the affairs of Nigeria. You have the resources with which you can change the lives of Nigerians. But if the resources, 68% of the resources go into recurrent expenditure, and the resources also go through the same channel that you used last year and people never benefited, that had been used years back and people never benefited, then you must change the system, the model. If you don't change the model, next year you're still going to ask us to please persevere and sacrifice.